What's the state of treating cancer today? How are they? I mean, obviously you're in a good way and it went good for you, but
Yeah.
yeah, how is well, yeah, what do you understand around that?
Yeah, it's just getting so much better so fast. I think for myself and I think a lot of other people going through cancer journeys right now, we're all just looking to like the next year. I mean, there's been new drugs released for my specific cancer in the 12 months that I've had this cancer,
Wow.
since my diagnosis. And those things are 20 years in the making, right? And the rate and the speed of which these things are coming to market is just getting faster and faster. And I think back to the earlier part of our conversation with AI and the ability to look at massive data sets and find the signal inside of the noise is that ability is just increasing exponentially right now.
Cool.
So I think it's personalized medicine. I think it's genetic-based medicine. I was able, with my resources and knowledge and connections, to do things that I would imagine 99% of cancer patients today can't do. And I was so blessed to be able to see some of these technologies. There's things like personalized peptide vaccines that are not really easy to get in the U.S. outside of clinical trials. There's a few places in the U.S. There's some places in Germany where they're easy to get, but they cost $100,000 to get a dose of it. So this is not available to people in general.
I want to try it right now.
Yeah, there's amazing technologies where, they take those and they match the peptides using an AI algorithm already that came from, I think, WashU, came up with this algorithm that matches peptides to the DNA of your tumor.
Whoa.
So my tumor had its DNA fully sequenced, and we found out what types of medications were likely to work with it or not. We found out what types of supporting medications, even from into painkillers to antibiotics, were more likely to work with the cells in my body based on the entire mapping of my tumor and the entire mapping of my healthy cells. And so that's where this stuff is going. We found out there's all sorts of drugs. I found out why, when a surgery I had 15 years ago and they kept giving me oxycodone, why it didn't work. It just doesn't work for me. And they found it in the genetic test. They were like, hey, FYI, don't take oxycodone for pain management because it actually doesn't do anything for pain management for you. And I said, oh my God, 15 years ago, I remember they gave me some in the hospital and they just kept giving me more and more and more. And I was like, I'm in so much pain. Can you give me more? This was all within an hour or multiple hours. And I had a toxicity and I coded and almost died in the hospital because they gave me too much of the drug. My blood pressure went to it was 260 over 220 or something.
They
I
didn't
don't
even know people.
how I survived that. I'm sure back then they just thought, well, some people don't do well with this drug. It's a rare side effect. Well, now we see in my genetics specifically, they're like, yeah, don't use that pain med. There's actually a different pain med that's very similar. And in this round of surgeries, I got to take that pain med. And I was like, oh my gosh, the pain all went away. I actually didn't know what pain meds were. They'd been giving me the wrong type for, in the past when I'd had surgeries. So there's so much power in data right now. And I think the drug development pace is going to speed up. The discovery pace is going to speed up. There are just, for any entrepreneur that's out there, whether they're young and thinking about starting a career in medicine and precision medicine, or whether they're already into their career and want to make a pivot, I would just love to ask people to consider this space and to continue to put resources into it. And I would love to also ask our government leaders to continue to fund rare cancers because we're going to be able to do things with them now that we've never been able to do with them before through this type of technology.
Hey, I just wanted to jump in here and give a quick shout out to the sponsor of today's podcast, B Micro, the easiest way to sneak vegetables into any meal. Due to soil depletion, GMOs, and monocropping, Americans are not getting enough nutrients. So in 2018, I founded B Micro, the first freeze-dried microgreens company in the U.S. to help Americans get more concentrated natural nutrients into their diet. Microgreens are a phase in the plant's life when they're 14 days old and naturally the most concentrated in vitamins, minerals, nutrients, all the good things that we need. Our microgreens are grown here in the U.S. in soil in a greenhouse. They're certified USDA organic and regenerative organic. We grow, wash, and freeze dry them to extend their 1 week shelf life to over 1 year, allowing us to ship anywhere in the U.S. without the worry of spoilage. We have 2 flavors, broccoli, backed by over 2,000 studies on sulforaphane and its powerful detox benefits, and a blend of red cabbage, radish, and broccoli, the most potent detox formula we've tested, offering you the most bang for your buck. Easily sneak these microgreens in any meal. Eggs, smoothies, pizza, pasta, even your kids' mac and cheese, you can't even taste it. Use code STEVE15 to save at bmicro.farm.
What's the state of government funding or government support in these ways?
It's down currently in the U.S. for sure. As a patient currently battling a rare cancer, it doesn't feel great to hear our government say that that's in the category of waste,
Wow.
and we're going to not spend there. So I won't evaluate the rest of it, but just in terms of what matters to me, that's difficult to hear. All of my treatment decisions were based on a study of 40 patients. That's how rare this is, 40. And, a lot of other people have awful health situations that are just as scary as mine, but they get to make decisions based on data that's across 800,000 people. And that's not necessarily something we can solve because this is just rare in and of itself. But my point is, you can collect enough data points, I believe, about something that's rare and in only 40 people with the amount of genetic profiling and other types of analysis that we can do now with technology to go way, way deeper and find signal in the noise and figure out what works and what doesn't work, even in a smaller data set. Now, big data sets are still going to drive things in AI, but we're going to be able to solve a lot of problems faster.
What's the range of costs for somebody going through cancer treatment?
Yeah, it's so wide. I've been very lucky in that my health insurance here in the state of Colorado has covered much of it.
Wow.
And then I've gone outside of, in addition to that, and hired experts that are not covered by health insurance, and into the tune of, I'm probably at $250,000 out of pocket, with insurance paying for everything that I've asked insurance to pay for. There's just things that they're not going to pay for that
Sure.
I've purchased as well. So yeah, I think, if you look at if you don't look at what you're paying for premiums already and just say, like, let's say you're really well covered, you can, I believe, get to a place through a cancer journey like this for not that much money. The time is going to be huge. One of the things when I went into this is I was surprised at how much the oncology team was really concerned about how my life would change from a professional standpoint, because they were like, we can write you a doctor's note, to let your boss know that you need time off. And I said, I'm able to pick my own schedule, so I appreciate that. I won't need that. Thanks. And they said, well, you'll want to think about how much you'll want to work then, since you can choose. And I said, well, I'm going to choose to work 0 is my answer, which is an incredible luxury, an incredible position to have. And so going into this, realizing that, like, I have this amazing place that I'm in where I can do nothing professionally. Now, my wife and I still had to spend hundreds of hours liaising with hospitals, liaising with schedulers, and liaising with health insurance companies.
Wow.
My one health insurance company, and even talking to a few others about what they could do for us. So a massive amount of time overhead. I think that for a lot of people is going to be incredibly difficult.